Today, he contradicted a point he made just 12 days ago.
Look, the NRA has over the years taken a very, very tough stance on everything, and I understand it. You know, it's a slippery slope. They think you approve one thing, and that leads to a lot of bad things. I don't agree with that.
You know, they call it the slippery slope, and all of a sudden everything gets taken away. We're not going to let that happen.
Corinne, that's from Wayne LaPierre's mouth to the president's ear and out to the public as he sits in the Oval Office there talking about the slippery slope. If they go for universal background checks, who knows what comes next? Maybe the government seizes your guns. The president had talked about being open to universal background checks, which we'll say again for the 1 millionth time are extraordinarily popular, not just among the general public, but among Republicans and gun owners. And now he's walking away from those as well after a couple of mean phone calls from Wayne LaPierre.
So, you know what, Willie? So not only is Donald Trump a puppet for Putin's puppet, he's also a puppet for the NRA. I mean, but we have to step back for a second. I think that if anybody had ever who thought that Donald Trump was actually going to do something about this, that it was a delusional thinking. It was never going to happen. We've seen this over and over again during his administration. When we see a horrible, massacre, gun violence, he says one thing and then NRA gets to him, and then he turns back around. We have to remember the NRA spent $30 million on Donald Trump's election in 2016. He is in their pocket. And the sad thing about it is this isn't really a partisan issue. When you look at the polling for background checks, it's at 90%. People want to move forward universal background check. It is incredibly important. People don't want to see the gun violence at schools, at malls, at their church. People are dying. It is now an epidemic. 62% of American people want a ban on assault weapons. I mean, we are there. This is no longer a Democrat issue or Republican issue as it comes to voters. Maybe clearly it is on the Hill in Congress, but when it comes to voters, they want to see this stop. Let's remember what's happening right now. Parents are sending their kids to school and they're buying bulletproof backpacks for their kids. I mean, this is what's happening right now in this country. It is an epidemic, and Donald Trump needs to do something. Mitch McConnell needs to do something. Enough is enough. Voters here, parents, people in this country do not want to see this anymore. They want the gun violence to stop.
This is one of the greatest illustrations as to why Americans hate Washington and why they hate Washington politicians.
Because before Trump, nothing
You have
happened.
almost 9 out of 10 Republicans, 89% of Republicans, supporting expanded background checks. The President of the United States saying he was going to support expanded background checks because, of course, 90% of Republicans supported it. He then talked to a lobbyist in Washington, D.C., who, by the way, is in the middle of scandals, who a lot of people believe built millions and millions of dollars from NRA members across America. And he talks to a D.C. lobbyist, and Corinne, he's willing to ignore 90% of not Americans, 90% of Republicans.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually an even higher number support